Jesus emphasized that our neighborly love should include even enemies. In Matthew 5:44, he said, I say to you, continue to love your enemies and to pray for those persecuting you. Our love will be perfect if we love even our enemies. Jehovah gives sunshine and rain even to wicked opposers. One publisher went to a hospital to visit an opposing husband. The man appreciated this kind gesture very much.
Isn't that interesting? So yes, Jehovah's Witnesses, according to governing body member Gerrit Lösch, speaking here at the 151st Gilead Graduation, are to show love even for wicked opposers. The example that's given is of a Jehovah's Witness visiting an opposing husband when he was in hospital. And you'll have to watch the whole thing. You'll have to take my word for it. But this is all Gerrit Lösch has to say on this particular thought that he conveys of the love of Jehovah's Witnesses being perfect when it includes a love of enemies. So it was kind of unexpected to hear him say this, kind of going against the grain, well, very much so according to the beliefs of Jehovah's Witnesses, who are to literally shun apostates and treat them as though they don't exist. So on the one hand, they're supposed to practice shunning and disfellowshipping and disassociation towards people who no longer share the views of people like Gerrit Lösch and who speak out against the teachings. On the one hand, they're supposed to shun them, and on the other hand, they're supposed to show love. And the only example that's given is to visit them in hospital. So make of that what you will. I would suggest this is just yet another example of a garbled, confused message, which is exactly what we can expect from a human, man-made religious organization. There are always going to be examples of where the guidance and instruction is confusing and contradictory to the point where it's bewildering trying to put it into actual practice. This is the sort of thing where if you were waking up, if you were in Gerrit Lösch's shoes and it was beginning to dawn on you that it was all total nonsense, this is the sort of message you might be tempted to weave in, because yes, there's a clear verse in Matthew 5 verse 44 that literally says, continue to love your enemies and pray for those persecuting you. You know, you can't dismiss that. You can't say, well, actually, I'd rather pretend that this verse isn't there. And indeed, there are examples. If you look at the Doctored series, you'll know what I mean. There are examples of where Jehovah's Witnesses have literally changed the wording in the New World Translation to suit their narrative. But this seems to be a verse that's slipped past them. It's evaded their radar, even though, again, it goes completely against Jehovah's Witness culture. Am I saying that Gerrit Lösch is waking up or is trying to surreptitiously weave in less culty messages to his talk? I don't think so. It would take more than this to convince me. But it's indisputable that this is a narrative, this is a message that is conspicuous in Jehovah's Witness teachings only by its absence in practice. Jehovah's Witnesses are not a group that love their enemies. They are a group who weaponize family against their enemies, who use ostracism and shunning to drive them to despair.